Kia ora and welcome into the Harness Half Hour, now proudly brought to you by Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. I'm Jess Smith, and this week on the show, we chat to junior driver Mark Hurrell following his win in the Darren DeFilippi Memorial last Friday night. Southland trainer Peter Hunter is also on the show after he trained unloaded to win the South of the Waitaki final on Friday also. And Michael House talks about his best season yet and upcoming ownership opportunities. Plus, Richard Wilson returns this week with his bookie update, and just a reminder that the views expressed on this podcast are those of the guest and not those of HRNZ. And here are this week's Harness Half Hour headlines. One of the features on Friday night at Addington was the Darren DeFilippi Memorial for junior drivers. It was won by Nevermind, which was driven by Mark Hurrell for trainer Trent Yesberg. Also on Friday at Addington, Unloaded won the South of the Waitaki final for Ryle Bush trainer Peter Hunter and driver Samantha Otley. Unloaded made it 3 wins in a row at Addington for his connections. And the details for this year's Australasian Young Drivers competition were announced this week. The New Zealand team will include Sherry Tomlinson, Sarah O'Reilly, John Morrison and Benjamin Butcher. The series will be held in December on Saturday 7th at Addington, Sunday 8th at Methven, Tuesday 10th at Manawatu, as well as Thursday 12th at Manawatu, and Friday the 13th at Auckland. Well, of course, one of the feature races from last week and a time-honoured event was the running of the Darren DeFilippi Memorial at Addington. And this year it was taken out by Nevermind and Mark Hurrell. Mark, congratulations.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much. It was good to win it again, yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's a race that a lot of junior drivers target each season. Was that the case for you again?
Yeah, I was sort of just lucky just to get off the drive on Nevermind, and it just all sort of just worked out. It's a race that everyone wants to sort of get a good horse and to have a winning chance, so I was just more than lucky to get that drive, yeah.
And you must be thrilled with the way your season's gone, of course ending up with 35 wins, and that's topping the previous year, which was 15. Yeah,
no, I couldn't be happy with the way my season went. Yeah, I had some good opportunities this season, and a lot of people backed me to put them on. So it was good to get a tally like that. So I couldn't be more happy, really.
And going into next season, do you put a target on there, or do you just see how it goes?
Oh, I think it's hard to put a target. You sort of got to just go with it, really, and just hope for the best. But I'd be happy if I can top that from last season. So I'm just excited for the new season to come around and have another go at it.
Fantastic. And for those who aren't aware, Mark, whereabouts do you work?
I work for Tom Baggery at the moment, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And where did your interest in harness racing start? Was it something that you were always involved in?
Not really, no. My dad used to own horses before I was born, and he sort of got out of it before I come along. But he's always sort of still held his interest, and it started growing on me as I was growing up, and just sort of went from there, and just I started working for Brendan McClellan when I left school, so I sort of just carried on that, and then I moved up to Christchurch at the end of last season.
Oh, fantastic. And I guess in Southland it's a great place to start out too, isn't it? Because everyone's willing to offer their opinion or give you a bit of help.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Southland's a great place for young juniors to start out. There's it's good because they're willing to give you a go, and there's always people looking for you to drive their horses at workouts and trials and stuff, and they put you on race day, and they're more than happy to put you on. So it's a good place to start, and I've been lucky enough for some people down there to sort of stick by me after I've left Southland to give me some more drives. So I couldn't be more thankful. Yeah,
because you've done a lot of travelling this season too, haven't you?
Yes, I've sort of tried to get them down to most Southland meetings unless I've been suspended. So, it's been good to get back down there. And guys like Sid Breen and Matt Saunders and all those sort of people, they put me on this season. And, we've done a good job together, so it's been great.
So outside of winning the Darren DeFilippi Memorial, what are the other highlights that stand out for you so far, Mark?
It'd have to be Sagwitch this season, getting to drive him. We won the Country Cup Series down there, and we won 3 Country Cups, so that was probably the highlight of my career so far, was getting the wins in the Wyndham and Winton Cups. So, that's probably my top at the moment.
Fantastic. And goals going forward, I know you don't put any labels on tallies each season, but are there a couple of races that you'd love to drive in one day?
I'm looking forward to driving Sagwitch again this season. We're going to look at something like the Hannah Memorial, just to sort of get a guideline on where he's at and if he's going to be good enough to take the better ones on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to sort of having a horse like him to drive next season where he's going to be up in front of the good races. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good on you, Mark. That's a phenomenal effort, 35 wins for the season. Well done, and thanks so much for your time again today.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks very much, Jess.
And in social media news headlines, starting off with New Zealand, Michelle Wallace collected her 500th training win on Friday night. Congratulations, Michelle. And Bernie Hackett, fittingly in that same event, reached 300 New Zealand training wins, remarkably in that same event. Mark Hurrell also features following his win in the Darren DeFilippi Memorial on our Facebook page. From Australia, Colt 31 is not intending to head to the Inter-Dominions in Auckland later this year. Phil Williamson collected an impressive couple of wins with Liberty Stride and Ultimate Stride over the past week. And for more, you can follow Adam Hamilton. And from the USA, the invitations to the 2019 International Trot at Yonkers have started to be issued, with former Hambletonian winning filly Atlanta the first to accept. And the US Harness Hall of Fame also recently inducted Art Major, Foiled Again, and Captain Treacherous to the Hall of Fame in Goshen, New York. Well, one of the main features on the card at Addington last Friday night was the South of the Waitaki final, and it was taken out by Unloaded for trainer Peter Hunter. Peter, congratulations.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, Jess. Yeah, that was a bit of a shock to win 3, but we'll take that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously it's pretty quiet down your neck of the woods at this time of the season, but were you surprised that the horse was able to pick up 3 on the trot at Addington?
Oh, yeah, any horse, I don't think I've ever trained one to win 3 in a row, but it's pretty hard to do at the best of times. But we did have a wee bit of a plan. He was racing well at the tail end of the Southland season, and I thought it'd be a good series for him because he was well handicapped for it, and he was racing really well, and I thought he was a sort of horse I thought he could be competitive, and I thought he might be able to sneak a win or 2, but I didn't expect it to turn out the way it had. Put it that way, yeah.
Well, I guess it makes the long trip home a lot more enjoyable when you're able to exceed expectations like that.
Yeah, I know. Just one of those things. Everything just worked in, and my brother Hender, he did a great job with him, and he loved the horse, and he settled in great up there, and and everything just worked out. Just one of those special times that when the horse was just going at the right time, and had the right driver on, right people looking after him, and it just worked out.
Can you tell us a bit, Peter, about the people that are involved with this horse and how you came to have it in your stable? Yeah,
as a syndicate, it's probably, if you go way back, it's a syndicate that was sort of an offshoot from the whatever syndicate, the Franco Ledger. Mm-hmm. And they formed a syndicate with a few of the Franco Ledger guys in it, and then and a couple others come in as well, and I've trained a couple of horses for them, and this one we went to the sales, and because one previous he had tendon issues, so he won a couple, but and we thought, we'll go to the sales and start from scratch again, and this is the result, really.
Well, I guess given the fact that a lot of these people were in such a social syndicate before, you guys would be well versed to celebrating the success?
Yeah, they're pretty strung out across the country, and of course we get older, we don't celebrate as much as as hard as we used to, but I think the ones that were there the other night, I think they had a pretty good night.
Oh, good on them too. And what are the plans going forward for Unloaded? Will he have a bit of a spell now?
Yeah, he's home now. He's going to have a wee break, and a few decisions to be made. He went up there with a 51 rating, and he's come home with a 74 rating. So the goalposts have moved a bit now. So he's in a tough grade. So with that series, he was lucky enough to race the same horses every week, and he didn't really go up the handicaps till the end of it. So yeah, next time round's going to be hard for him.
Yeah. Oh, well, at least the owners will be having a bit of fun with him. And how many horses have you got in work at the moment down there, Peter?
Yes, we got training about 13 at the best times, and yeah, that's what we have at the moment. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of your career now, 90 training wins overall, I believe. And are there any main highlights that have stood out to you during your time in the industry?
Probably that one the other night would have to be right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like winning at Addington, it's pretty special to us. It doesn't happen. I'm just sort of a hack-about trainer down south. I'm just just have a small team, and to get to Addington with a horse is it doesn't happen too often, and to win 3 like that. Yeah, well, that's a big thing for us, really.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Such a long way from home, and to pick up 3 in a row, as you say, is awesome at Addington Raceway. Well, Peter, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, because I know you guys will be probably exhausted after your escapades up to Addington for the last few weeks. So thank you so much, and congratulations again to you and the team.
Thanks very much, Jess, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Airpark Canterbury is Christchurch's only 24/7 privately owned off-site airport car parking. If you feel strongly about supporting privately owned business, support Airpark Canterbury. It's only a short drive to the airport in the Airpark Canterbury free shuttle. So if you want the cheapest parking option around, try Airpark Canterbury. Call 0800 Airpark or online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, as the season wraps up, it's a pleasure to be able to chat to various members of the industry about the season that's just been. And one trainer who's recorded his best season so far and finishing 3rd on the New Zealand premiership is Michael House. Michael, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jess. Thanks very much for the recognition.
And I guess it must be a bit of a chance for you to reflect on what a busy season you've had with the team.
Jess. Life's a funny thing, and you start on paths, and then it illuminates different trails. And I probably started this path 3 years ago, and and there's been sort of lots of little roadblocks or directional changes in my mind, and then, quite frankly, when you analyse it, when you take a minute and sit there and think about it, what started this last 2.5 seasons was the capitulation of the stud business, and me getting out of that, and the demise of the Ready to Run at the same sort of period when we had an online Ready to Run, which failed. It found a couple of nice horses, but it failed, and the lack of support in the market for that sort of thing. And while it had been so great to me, I probably just went 2 years too long on that, and 1 year too long in the stud business. And it is what it is. And I'm what really forced me to really analyse what I was going to do was the good people that I had, and people who invested in me, and having staff members that have been with me so long, I really owed it to them to actually front up and do something about it and create a lifestyle for all of us. And then why I recognised racing low-level horses was the rating system. It's singly the greatest thing that's ever happened to harness racing. The fact that we got change, whether the changes were good or bad or indifferent, really is everyone's got an opinion. But quite frankly, the fact that we got change and we've recognised the fact that the backbone of our business, the people that breed a horse, have a family, breed a horse, race it on a Sunday, get up real early in the morning and work their horse and then race. Really, without those people, we don't have professional trainers, and the professional trainers have an awful lot to say in New Zealand and seem to get their way into into board tables and seem to gather a lot of opinion about what they think is best, and yet they don't look at the big picture, and there's so many things go into the melting pot to make racing a good sport. And as you well know, it's a great sport. We love it dearly, but there's always little incidences, and quite frankly, the rating system's been built by so many people, and it's only a system for rating the horse's performances, and hey, it's never been fairer. Whereas in our old system, it was a one-way system, and you breed a horse, and after 3 wins, it was in cup class anyway. And today it mimics a wee bit like a game of snakes and ladders.
Yeah, definitely.
And quite frankly, it's keeping people in the game who are at the bottom end of having a say. The people who really matter, who really make a big difference, are the people that fill the fields by just racing their horse.
Yeah.
And we're getting, like, this business has to actually shrink more yet before we actually come right. We actually need to shed more people and shed more board members, and we need to shed more horses till we get to a point where it actually is that horse has got some value. Yeah. We're still not there yet. But anyway, that's sidebar to what I did, and what I have done is I could have easily 2 years ago said right, that's it, I'm finished, I'm all done. Right? The minute Lindsay got pregnant, my darling, I could have said, right, darling, I'll support you and I'll hold your hand and I'll clean the house, and I could have easily become a house husband, and I actually almost told her a lie. I said to her when she was pregnant that that's what I would do. But what I did do is I managed to do what I did in the past year and help bring up a baby by only working part-time.
Exactly. And being able to take a team to the Manawatu, as you've done in recent years, Michael, you've been able to place these horses so well and reward those owners that have stuck by you.
Well, it's not really the owners; it's the people. It's like I've only got a small nucleus of owners that have been with me a long time. Philip Kennard and Paul Brand, and they're initial owners who were there in 1993, 1992, I think, 1992, my first year training. Which I don't mind adding. I won a 2-year-old Sales Series fillies race.
In the first season.
Right? And the first season of training, and the second year I won the 3-year-old race, and I also won an Easter Cup. And like people say, oh, it's so hard today. Well, listen, it's never been easy. Like the problem we've got today is the yearling sales being so dominant in our results of Premier Days, and the reflection of that is, if you want to race Mark Purdon, you have to have horses like Mark Purdon, and you have to have a system as good as Mark Purdon's, and you need to drive them as well as him, and that's nearly impossible because he's adapted his business over 30-odd years, and then what he did was a master stroke when he got Natalie involved to fine-tune it. And, I've trained 98 winners, and I'm a part-timer. So what are the rest doing?
Well, it certainly gives people hope, Michael, and as you say...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Honestly, I walk outside at 8:30 in the morning, I'm back inside at 11:30, my wife goes off to work. Okay? Right, so quite frankly, the power of this business is the people that you employ, delegating, doing stuff that's right for the animal, making quick, good decisions, being solid about your choices, hunting down horses, talking to people, trying to go forward. Like, because I could be out of business tomorrow. I could have a directional change tomorrow. Geez, nothing in this world is rock solid. And it's all I know is racing horses is a great new business. It's fun. It's a lifestyle, and just because just because the rating system's not the way you like it, or that horse that you got doesn't fit it, it's not the Harness Racing New Zealand's fault. Right? It's your fault. You've actually got to adapt to what's in front of you. Mark Burden, he's our leader, and he adapts to every situation. And quite frankly, he shows us how to do this year in, year out, and yet people grumble about it. You've just got to adapt. And if you get lots of maidens and lots of rating 40 horses, where do you go? What do you do? So you work out where the best money is. Right? Well, I've done that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and going forward too, you're also looking at interesting ways at getting new owners involved in the sport, and there'll be more information coming out soon, but you seem to be always looking at the next way to get people involved.
Exactly, Jess. Honestly, I've been buying horses, and I've got some people who have been paying for them, and I've been taking shares in them, and quite frankly, if my business is to grow, if I want to do more than I did this year, I have to get more horses, and I have to be able to get them. And then when you look at a nucleus of people who are there's actual people out on the edge who want to be involved, but the only product they can get into, and it's been done to death, and that is the syndication of yearlings. And right across New Zealand, there's probably still 500 yearlings in the thoroughbred world and the standardbred industry that are still not sold with shares available, and that takes an awful lot of risk from a trainer to underwrite that, and then the 3-year wait for most horses, and most people are just not into that. And I recognise that people want to race, and I would love to be able to buy horses and put people in at a set fee, and that covers training, and they just pay straight up, and we're at the races next week, and I give the horse the best chance by putting the best driver available in that race, and put the horse in the right race, and hopefully Bob's your uncle. And give people some instant gratification, and try and turn this tide of exodus of people out of the racing business because of the time lags and the expense. And if we somehow, by starting a trend of how to do the business of racing, changing the way we do the business may help the sport of racing.
Yep.
So our culture, I've been on about it for 12 months. Our culture's bad. Somehow we've got to change it around, from the inside out. We've all got to look in the mirror. We've all got to reinvent ourselves. We've got to change the way we talk. We've got to change the way we do things.
Yeah.
And we've got to work more in tune with the people who are paid to do their jobs. We can't be argumentative. We've got to be reciprocal, and our consumer is the better, and our partners are our clients.
Yeah.
Now, we honestly, along the way, we're losing sight of what our role is as horsemen.
Yep. Well, somehow we've got to turn this around, and it's us that have to do it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
So,
and quite frankly, there are so many horsemen out there that should have their licences taken off them for being negative. They shouldn't be in here. If you can't actually lift the challenge of the fact that horse racing is the same today as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it's still all the same. It's just a horse race. It's just horses go out the track and they go round. Right? It's simple. Right? The stuff that's got worse is the social media. There are some half-wits continually just belittling everyone's efforts who are in paid positions, who don't want racing to fail, but they're paid to do a job. So just because you don't accept what they say, you don't smash it out on social media. You've got to accept it. You've actually got to move on and look at yourself.
Well, Michael, you're making the positive steps. You're trying something new. The results reflect it themselves this year. 98 wins and third on the premiership. I thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best going forward. And if anyone's wanting to find out more about your opportunities, can they reach out to you directly?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, we live in Well, actually, part of the reason why I went from 57 wins to 98 this year was because of my knee. And what people don't realise is, while my wife was pregnant, I went and said, I'm sick of this farm that I was at in West Melton. And a farm was available close to town, which was a very old farm, famous with where Lordship of Johnny Globe, and I went and bought it, and I borrowed all the money, and then went about subdividing my other properties, and put ourselves in immense financial risk, which sent us into even trying even harder, and we haven't been sensational at selling off our properties, but we're getting there, and if we can see our way through with that, I'd like to be able to claim that I'm the closest trainer to Addington Raceway, and as the city comes to meet us, the property hopefully will grow in value, and I'll still be around. But over the next few months, if things don't go well selling the last couple of properties, I might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, well, I'm sure people will be very keen to find out about your new ownership options. Michael House, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Jess. Bye.
Hi, Razor here from Canterbury Rugby. When you need airport parking, choose a team that's on the ball. Meet at Airpark Canterbury and get their free Mercedes shuttle to drop you right off at the terminal. Airpark Canterbury have the cheapest 24/7 airport parking, and you'll never get left on the sidelines. Give Airpark Canterbury a try. airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, it was a bit of a quieter week last week with no Thursday night harness racing, but Richard Wilson, harness bookmaker, is with us to go through the 3 meetings that were held. Richard, Addington and Auckland, of course, on Friday night. Starting off with Addington, how did things go?
Yeah, well, there were plenty of large bets there at Addington Friday night, and a few too many of them were on the right horses, for my liking. There was $7,000 on Unloaded to win at $1.85. He got the job done in the Southern Series final there. That was the biggest return. Also very good, $1,000 to win at 7 and $4,000 to run top 3 at $2.30 on Corona. That one got home. There was $3,000 on Uptown Lady at both 3.30 and 2.90. $2,000 on Nevermind at 5.50. There was $3,000 Jazzy Star at 2.90 and another $2,000 at 2.70. So all good collects there. A couple that missed, $2,000 on Silk at 2.70, another $2,000 Naya Franco at 2.80, $2,000 in Chevron we trust at 4.50. There was $950 on the big mover Zambia at 5.50 and $1,800 on Dream Major at 2.20.
Yeah, it was a real mixed night, all right. And Friday night at Auckland looks as though similar case.
Yeah, it was very similar. A few too many big ones on the winners. 9,000 Express Delight at 2.40 was the best bet. The few other short price winners got some big bets as well. $6,300 bet on Mighty Louie at 1.95. There was 8,000 Perfect Stride 1.75 and 2,000 on Kratos at 2.10. The biggest misses there were on I'm Jimmy James in race 9, $1,500 at 1.75. 2,500, 2,300, and then an $8,000 bet all at the 165. There was also $2,000 and $1,000 bets missing out on Delightful Major at 340, and $1,000 on Best Western at 350, as well as a $2,000 bet at 270.
And of course, Sunday wrapped up the racing season remarkably. It's come around so quick, and the tide started to turn a little bit for you and the team.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit better for us there on Sunday. It didn't start that well, though. Punters on top early. 2,000 on Magician to run the top 3. He snuck home late to get the $1.95 home there in race 1. And then 10,000 on Champers to win at $1.85 in race 3. So things were starting to look a bit bleak, Jess, but then it all turned around. Leap of Faith, very popular there. 3,000, 2,000, 1,200, and a couple of $1,000 bets all at the 180. There was $7,000 and a $2,300 bet and just to run top 3 on Major Deal at $1.35. He missed out. And in the last, $3,000 to win at 8 and $7,000 to run top 3 at 2.90 on the leader Tetrick, and luckily for me he got run down into 4th.
Nice way to end the season for you and the team anyway, and well, I guess this next multi is not the nicest way to end things, but what a phenomenal effort.
Yeah, no, I was just saying to Burnsy, he's going to have to cop most of this 10-leg multi, $20 10-leg multi. 8 legs of it is Greyhound and 2 harness horses, Distinguished Taste at $2 and Monte Falco at $1.65 with the harness ones. And then the doggies, Neptune Allen at 4, Go Glow 175, Martha Magic 225, Cameo Sid at 4, Dinah Dave at 110, Penny Mac at 142, Robson 120, and Nature's Gent, the last head-to-head there on Sunday at $1.85, turned the $20 into $14,418.
Oh my God, that is an outstanding effort, combining the greyhounds and the harness code there. Well done. And as you say, yeah, the greyhound bookie will be smarting a bit. And looks as though there weren't that many cash outs this week, Richard.
No, punters are sticking with the ship in the last few weeks, which is good to see. There was one a few nerves got the better of the punters, shall we say. A $149 bet on Mighty Louie at $1.95 would have returned $291. For some reason cashed out for $142, and of course Mighty Louie went on to win at $1.80.
Yep, I think they're taking their tolls, those worst cash out options. People are getting a bit burnt. In the week ahead, of course, the new season kicking off, you'll be looking forward to doing it all over again.
Exactly, yes. There's not many days between the seasons now. There, Cambridge on Thursday, Addington Friday, and then Forbury Park a day Sunday meeting should be good.
Well, Happy New Year to you, Richard, and thanks as always for your time.
Yeah, thank you. I better start baking the carrot cakes for August the 1st.
Coming up harness racing wise this week, of course, it is the start of the brand new season. Thursday night we've got Waikato at Cambridge kicking off 2019 and 20. Friday night Addington is the sole meeting, and Sunday we're down at Forbury Park in Dunedin. That's it for the harness half hour. Thanks to Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. Don't forget you can find us in various places via the HRNZ website, the Facebook page, on Punters Lounge on tab.co.nz, via Spotify and also iTunes. And we'll catch you again next week. Thanks for tuning in.